It is road trip time!
Welcome to the Nanjing River Valley, a mountainous region located on the China-MYANMAR border. Over the next 5 days, we'll be making our way through this mysterious place. I wiped the dust off my Chinese driver's license to get us out here in the middle of nowhere. And I'll admit the road was a bit of an obstacle course at times, but it was so worth it. We had so many interesting experiences with friendly locals.
Cheers!
Cheers! Oh, 对，同学 cheers！ 我 cheers！
Cheers!
We got to do some urbex on the top of a mountain.
It says, "Long live Chairman Mao."
We even listened to some very unique local music.
你看，它这么小。
好神奇啊！
And of course, there is much, 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 much more.
对 LOL.
But before I show you all that, let's go back in time to the first day of our journey in the city of Baoshan.
So of course, because it's China, the interior of the car has been cutified to the point of no return. Like every single space that they could put a cute little doohickey, they have put one. We're off, everybody! So if you guys follow me on YouTube or Bilibili, you've probably never seen me drive a car before ever. You probably think I didn't even have a Chinese driver's license. I've actually had one for many years. I just updated to the 10-year license. I just hardly ever use it. I love biking, I love buses, I love public transport of all sorts, but the place we're going to is just so inaccessible. Trust me, I looked into other options and the only thing that made sense was renting a car, so we're doing that. And y'all finally get to see me get some use out of my Chinese driver's license.
I'm gonna be real with y'all, I really did not enjoy driving in Baoshan because the paint on the roads is so faded that you can barely see the lines. Someone come out here and paint this dang thing, please. Fortunately, it's a tiny city, so we escaped quite quickly and headed into some random country roads. Progress was a bit slow because you're constantly watching out for scooters and carts and all these random things on the road, but hey, it's an interesting experience.
谢谢. So you maybe noticed that we are not on the highway, and that was an intentional decision because most of the highway is actually tunnels. And I don't want to see tunnels. I want to see mountains, I want to see villages, I want to see places where people live. That is why I came here, to see the scenery. I'm seeing it. Goat alert! Goats! Goats!
Interestingly, this weird back road route that I took actually caused us to miss 2 border patrol stations in a row, and when we finally did pass through one, it caused a bit of a snafu because they were like, why is there no record for this car in this region? How did you guys bypass 2 patrol stations? I tried to explain to them that I just find highways boring and unaesthetic, and I prefer these random back roads, and they became more and more and more suspicious, and they were like, let me see your driver's license, and I showed it to them, and they were like, whoa, cool, you already evolved up to the 10-year driver's license, amazing!
My leg is kind of sore from sitting for too long. So we are getting out in this random little village. I have no idea what's here. I was just like, ooh, an easy parking spot, boop.
As it turns out, this random place we stopped in is mostly inhabited by people from the Bai ethnic group, and you can tell by looking at the architecture, which is white with gray and blue accents and covered in paintings.
It is literally fall and spring at the same time here. We got corn cobs out in the sun, we got corn stalks laying on the ground drying, we got fall leaves, and also there's a bunch of stuff flowering. Check out this corn wall.你交了一个朋友。
信找得了吗？
新疆现在冷。
哦。
看看看。
你要？
是你的吗？
哦，是我的。
他家也有呢。He's like, F off, I know your face. We are on the road again. We are 1 hour from our destination. Let's go.
你好。
This road is so bumpy. I suddenly feel like I've been plunged back in time to like 15th century England here with this road. A little rough up here. We have arrived. This is the coffee plantation of a friend of a friend. And even though I'm not a huge fan of coffee, I'm a huge fan of villages. And I know this place will not disappoint. This is the brick road that I was driving on yesterday. And this thing's a bit of a bitch to drive on. I'm gonna be real with y'all, but walking is very pleasant. It's very nice.
Yesterday, by the time we arrived, it was almost sunset. So we saved all the excitement for today and we're starting out our morning with a nice little stroll.
怎么有耳朵呢？我们白讲的就是没有耳朵。
其他的讲的话，那啥我想想我。
不好意思，我们听不懂本地的话。
不是，
不好意思，听不懂啊。
也录音，一般嘛也录音进步。
There is a turkey in there. People here eat turkeys. I've never seen turkey on the menu anywhere in China. It's Thanksgiving all year long here in Yunnan. Chicken feet, buns, hot sauce, Spam. I love seeing what's for sale in the local convenience stores. I love the concept of buying local snacks, but this popcorn, it ain't it, guys. The scenery here is chef's kiss, but every snack here is stale. This is like some nightclub music. We're at another little random grocery store. And check out this. Like, you would feel like a little rat holding a crumb eating this thing. Like. Okay, this is the most interesting thing I've seen in a grocery store in a while. This. It is milk in a gun. And at a glance, it looks like you're supposed to spray it into your mouth. But actually, there's a little teeny note on here saying, do not spray the milk into your mouth. This is a toy for once you finish the milk, you can fill it with water and then you have a water gun. But I want to know how many people are actually going to listen to that. They have one brand of beer down there and everything else is hard liquor. Ooh, this one's interesting. It's a can of river snails. Yeah, it really is snails. You can hear them in there. And it even comes with toothpicks to help you get the snail body out of the shell. Whoa, look at these trees. How cool. It's like an elephant's ear.
Midway up the mountain, we met up with Mr. Song, who is literally the friend of a friend of a friend. So that should show you just how hospitable the locals around here are, that they'd be willing to spend their entire afternoon with someone who is essentially a completely random stranger.
这只是不是民族？
哦，他们是汉族啊。
汉族。这里上去还有我们那边是。
Oh. So Mr. Song is taking us to his home village, and we keep passing by buildings, and I keep thinking we're there, and then it's like, no, that's just some other village. No, that's just some other village. Nah, it's just my brother's house, and we're still going. 你小的时候就是走这种路是吗？
没有这么快吧？才这么快。
If you guys are confused about the road situation here, that village actually does have a concrete road that connects it to the main road below. You don't have to come in on this teeny little dirt road like it's the 80s, but we wanted to go this way because we wanted to see the scenery. Let me tell you, it was worth it. 你们村什么时候通了水泥路呀
13年。
在那之前不容易啊。小朋友在大自然的怀抱里长大，刷着手机，刷啥呢？小朋友，抖音啊。 This is pretty much the last frontier of inhabited lands before you reach Myanmar.
Mr. Song told us that the Lisu people have always lived scattered far and wide in random mountain villages, and to get from one place to another is quite a trek, even more so before there were paved roads. So if a visitor shows up, not even necessarily someone you actually know, it's common in Lisu culture to offer them tea and snacks after their long journey.
Wow. Oh, 这个好呀。
This building here is Mrs. Song's textile workshop. You might be wondering if she changed her name after getting married to Mr. Song. That custom isn't common anywhere in China. Her last name was already Song. Mr. Song told us most of the people in this village have the same last name.
这个真的很像瑶族。前段时间我们去了一个瑶族村，然后他们的包也是很像的。
少数民族都是喜欢花花绿绿的。
我也发现了，我发现了。Back in the day, they used to use hemp for their fabrics, but now they switched to cotton because hemp is in the category of bad plants, you know, in there with like poppies and stuff. So like way back in the day, they were in this isolated little community in a mountain and nobody cared what they grew. But as times progressed and people started realizing hemp can be used for other purposes, the government was like, you know what, actually, no hemp anymore. But there's still some old hemp cloth in there just for like nostalgic purposes.
The Song family also invited us to stick around for an afternoon meal. When they found out we don't eat pork, they even made all the dishes pork-free, which was super nice of them since pork is in everything around here.
Cheers.
Cheers！哦，对对对，Cheers！哇，Cheers！
Cheers.
碰杯，
对对对。
Cheers.
Cheers！
Hello, 你好。
Hello！
After our lovely meal, we headed back to the coffee plantation that we parked the car at yesterday evening. This region is known for its coffee, and it's the main cash crop that the locals are growing. This particular plantation is run by a guy named Sam, who is passionate about bringing organic farming back to rural China.
You may have noticed that alongside the coffee, they are also planting bananas in here.
它需要一定的荫蔽的话，咖啡的品质会更好一些。然后香蕉的话，既可以荫蔽，也可以增加收益。就这40年，它有一些化学肥料以后，有些土壤的话，微生物很少，有益生菌也很少，然后它已经没有什么蚯蚓啊或者其他的那种在土壤里面。这样的土壤的话，对于我们来说，它就不具有活性了。我们的话就每年会有4到5次的除草。其实它长出来的草的话，也是也就是很好的有机质，然后我们就不断的给它割草，然后回到这个地里面去。通过我们补给给它的一些秸秆、蕈秆分明的话，能够吸收到它所需要的更多的养分，那我就不用再给它补充一些外来的东西。
It's like ever since humans realized we could make fertilizer out of chemicals, we suddenly like forgot that nutrients are supposed to be in a cycle. Like nowadays, everybody thinks it's totally normal to like eat a banana and throw the peel in the trash, and then the trash goes to the landfill, and then it just sits there completely separated from the rest of the earth forever. I love seeing this. More of this, please. This is how it was always supposed to be.
Now it's time to head back down the mountain and go even further into the Nanjing region.
The obstacle course has begun.
Okay, I know I'm a bit of an anxious driver, but you would be too if the last time you'd driven was in 2022.
Hey, move! Move! 笑死我了，这个劲儿。
We're going to be spending the night in a tiny city called Liu, and tomorrow morning we'll show you a glimpse of it and then head onwards to our next location.
Good morning, everyone. From Yunnan. Today is special day. It's my birthday. Ah, I'm 29 years old. Oh, I'm feeling I'm old. I'm sad.
We usually stay in pretty run-of-the-mill guest houses and hotels. Definitely the click on the cheapest one kind of travelers, but it's Asa John's birthday, so I put some effort in this time. Before I show you guys where we're staying this evening, let's have some classic Yunnan breakfast, rice noodles.
It's breakfast time. If you're wondering what these leaves are, they're mint, and they have mint in a lot of their soups around here, and I'm such a big fan. Even in the beef noodle shop, there is an impressive array of hard liquor.
We also went on a post-breakfast stroll to admire the sights here in this tiny city. Items of note were plants with threatening auras,
Whoa. Whoa.
random sinks on the side of the road, and a sample of what is perhaps the worst fruit known to man.
I have no word to describe this.
Basically, imagine if a lemon peel itself was a fruit. A more common use of this thing is fermenting alcohol, and I really think that we should just keep it that way. Stay in your lane, bruh.
There are so many random sinks on the street here. Here's another one. And there are more in the park. We're here outside the Panda Club, and they even have some fake pandas here for the vibes. Pretty much anywhere else in China, if you came to a park like this first thing in the morning, it would be swarmed with people dancing and playing instruments and exercising. But here in Nanjing, they're just like, nah, we're not about that life. Finally, I found some action happening in the park. I'm shook, y'all. In Nanjing, they are not morning people at all. Because anywhere else, this place would be packed. Goodbye, Liu Ku. No more city life for the next 4 days. We're gonna really be out in the middle of nowhere.
Off we go to our next destination, Lao Mudang, not to be confused with the celebrity hippo, although they do sound weirdly similar.
Teeny village in the middle of nowhere. We are in a solid traffic jam right now. There is no escape.
Fortunately, some random guys standing on the side of the road swooped in to save the day and guided cars into different back alleys like a giant game of Tetris, and eventually we escaped. You may be wondering why I'm doing all the work and Asadong isn't driving. In the US, it's standard to get your driver's license the moment you reach the eligible age, whether you have a car or not. I got mine in high school, despite having never owned a car at any point over all these years. In China, it's rare to get a driver's license in your teens, and people usually wait to get one until they're about to buy a car or at least going to use a car on a regular basis, and neither of those are the case for us right now. He'll get one in a couple years. Stay tuned.
We are at the gate of the little mountain lodge thing we're staying in, and look who came to greet us. Look at that face. He just looks like he's thinking about something very deep and profound that I would never understand. Today we're staying in this adorable little mountain lodge thing. It's so cute. I love places like this because they go crazy with the decorations.
Even the little check-in lobby was so over the top, and I absolutely love it.
Y'all, look at this view. Here we have a beautiful mountain view. Here we have a bunch of chickens. And here is the washing machine. We specifically booked a place with a washing machine, and it also has an industrial sized bag of detergent. When I first saw this, I thought it was like an animal feed bag or something, and then I was like, wait a minute, it's detergent. We are now in the land of another ethnic minority called the Nu people, named after the river. Or maybe the river's named after them. I don't know which one.
Jidujiao?
Jidujiao?
I can't believe it. Oh my god. 真的吗？
所以安静一点。
The Nu people are one of the few ethnic minorities in China who have a written script for their language. And despite using the Latin alphabet, it is completely incomprehensible if you're not familiar with it. We'll learn more about the Nu people later this evening. But for now, we're actually trying to get to the top of this mountain before sunset to show you guys the abandoned government buildings.
I love how they add these little things to the scooters. And a wicker basket, classic. They're collecting some kindling out of the forest here. Have y'all ever seen bamboo that looks like this? This is the weirdest bamboo I've ever dang seen. Looks like somebody's living up here. Check it out, a tiny little convenience store. They're selling the plastic knockoff version of those wicker baskets that everybody's using. People still want the wicker basket aesthetic, but plastic is cheaper. Y'all, look at this wall of vegetables here. How in the world do you even get in there and work on that thing? I've been to a lot of mountainous rural regions in China, and most of them use terrace farming, or they just don't farm on places like this. I don't think the concept of terrace planting got around to here. Look how cute the stop sign is. It's got little patterns on it. The ground here is so uneven that all the houses have little stilts in the front because they can't find a flat piece of ground to build on. Yo. Here it is, everyone, the abandoned government center of Nanjing, so far away from everything, and it's been a while. As you can see from the aesthetic of this, it's been a long time. You can barely read this. It says, "Long live Chairman Mao."
You may be wondering, why on earth would they build a government center so far away from everything on the top of a mountain? I was confused by it at first too, but later that evening, the owner of our guest house explained that it was because in the mid-1900s, there actually was no road through the valley. The only way to get to Nanjing from the surrounding regions, such as Baoshan and Dali, was to climb over the mountain. This place eventually got abandoned when paved roads and tunnels arrived in the valley, and it's practically untouched because it's so remote that no one bothered to do anything with this land over all these years.
This thing is actually an old museum, and you can't go in it, but you can go up it. Here is some Chinese style graffiti. It's finger in the dust. Very polite, very innocent. Here's a gem, SB. It means dumbass. And even though the government buildings are abandoned, the fact that they're abandoned draws people over here to look at them. And then because of that, there's actually some small businesses in here. There's a couple little hotels and restaurants catering to the people like me who came all the way up here just to see some old urbex from the Mao era. Whoa, look at this. Someone is growing veggies in the yard of the abandoned government building. Sick. Let me show you a bit of what is for sale here for the urbex enthusiasts who come through.
This might look like a mushroom at first glance, and I guess it kind of is one, but it's rock hard and it's not used for eating, it's for Chinese medicine. We've also got some cute little baskets. Various nuts and seeds and teas and coffees, and I don't know what this is. A lot of mushrooms and herbs, and an impressive array of rocks of all shapes and sizes. Also, this cool guy.
Oh my gosh. LOL. He still hasn't figured it out. He was just like, 中国人为什么会来我们这里?
I have walked by here like 3 times, and these kids have not had a single successful hit and then hit back. Not even once. But they're still going. They're very patient. They're like, we'll figure it out somehow, someday.
谁赢了谁输了呀？那你输了，我知道了，走吧。耶！这个有点恐怖呀。
对，一个人的话不敢走。
还有陵墓。
对。
Just as the last rays of the sun were disappearing behind the mountain, we made it back to Long Mudang, and now we're going to spend a few hours around the fire. The owner of the guest house was talking about traditional gender roles among some ethnic minorities, and I have to say, even as someone who's been living in China for 6 years, some of this was still a bit of a culture shock.
晒衣服，女人的衣服不能晒得比男人的高。
对，这是哪个民族呀？
朝鲜族、满族都这样嘛。
我是贵州人啊，我是贵州的，我少数民族侗族的，我们那边也是一样的。就晒衣服是男人的衣服要晒在前面，女人的衣服晒在后面的，不能，而且洗衣服也不能跟男人的一起共洗。有这个，
这样好累啊。
那没办法的。
你们民族有没有这个呀？关于晒衣服这个事情有没有？
没有，
湖南三省交界的，我们那边的就是。
Okay, enough about that. It is time for a performance. This unassuming little strip of bamboo is actually a musical instrument used by the Nuu people.
中间这个细细的这个断了，就这个口弦就废掉了。吸吹弹口腔的共鸣，你看它这么小，
好神奇啊！放在这边才有声音。
口腔的共鸣。
今天上了物理课。We woke up the chickens with all our racket up here.
中国猫跟美国猫叫的声音都是一样的啊。
可能全世界都同意吧。
有点搞不清了。
Time for the next evening snack. These are rice cakes toasted on a fire, and you're supposed to eat them with honey. 这是你的生日蛋糕。
Money.
Money. 烟熏有钱的。
They have a saying around here that whoever the smoke blows toward is rich. So it's a way to comfort yourself when the smoke is going in your eyes.
我没有钱。
Hope you guys enjoyed this section of our road trip. And believe it or not, it's not over yet. The Nanjing region is just too vast and fascinating to cram into one video. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll be traveling even further into the middle of nowhere and showing you more random villages, more beautiful scenery, and more encounters with friendly locals. See you next time.